Do you know what? My mum used to have one of these little brooches, and it was made, I don't know what it was, like a weasel, and it was made out of real weasel hair or something. It was weird. With, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask her about that. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of. A little bit of a.
Do you know what that's called? That fluffy thing.
Boom.
No.
Boom cover.
No. Boom cover. You've been an actress for 10 years.
It's the boom, isn't it? The microphone.
What's the fluffy
Mic
thing
cover.
called? No.
Badger.
No.
Fluff.
No.
Don't know.
Dead cat.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know it was called a dead cat?
No, I seriously didn't.
That's honestly.
What does that remind you of?
Go on.
Don't play funny beggars with security.
I forgot about that. Mr. Billington.
Mr. Billington.
Oh, he was so horrible to me.
I'd just like to say, you don't need to click and subscribe because it does my head in. So I'm not going to ask you to do that.
But if they don't do that, you're talking to nobody. But then, quite often, that's what she does anyway. Okay, what was... Okay.
So we're talking about ADHD, Tessa. So do you think... I've just said, have you got ADHD?
I am 100% certain I've got ADHD.
Why?
I think... I've always just thought I was forgetful, lose things... and just generally a ditzy person. Yeah.
Is it,
well, this doesn't help.
No.
This doesn't help. But what I've watched so many YouTube videos on the subject of ADHD, and I've read so many articles about ADHD. I am very, very convinced now. Oh, yeah. Take the beer.
Sorry.
No, take. No, fine.
Interrupt you if you
want to come on?
Hello.
Okay.
Well, I think if you watch like 300 videos about the symptoms of ADHD, you kind of get the idea. Some of the key symptoms are this. In your current circumstances, you don't know where anything is. You were watching my phone a moment ago, and I just freaked out. Where's my phone? I literally don't know what I've got in my pockets.
Mine, and you freaked out because where are my glasses? And it wasn't like a logical process.
Yeah.
They must be somewhere.
That's because your immediate memory is completely disorganised. I don't know where anything is. I need to go. I can lose anything at any time. This morning, I picked up my computer bag, where I keep all my laptops and kit, and I moved it into the kitchen. Then 1 minute later, I looked where the laptop bag was and saw it wasn't there and freaked out, forgetting that 1 minute before I'd moved it into the kitchen. Things like that happen.
Is it the point that you're freaking out? It's not that you've lost it.
It's the fact that you couldn't remember doing it in the first place. Because in your immediate environment, you don't know what you're doing. ADHD people are completely disorganised, and they've got...
Then once you get focused, because this is what I've noticed as well, once you're focused on something, you're completely in on it. So when you're editing, you're in on it, aren't you? You're not disorganised then.
That's another interesting facet of ADHD. If you Google ADHD and also Google hyperfocus, it's a word.
Yeah.
Hyperfocus means that you're so focused on one topic, one activity.
Yeah.
Literally an atomic bomb could go off outside and you wouldn't notice it. So ADHD lends itself to something that requires immense concentration. It requires a whole brain activity and cutting out all of your surrounding environment. I'm hyper-focused on something to the state that nobody can... It's a little bit like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
So you've got this hyper focus. Now, if you need a task that requires hyper focus, like video editing,
you're all there. Yes.
It's brilliant.
How are you on watching films then?
We like familiarity. I love watching films I've already seen.
Oh.
Films that are brand
because
new.
Then you don't need to focus so much.
That's right. Brand new films that require your attention. and that are going to take you on a journey, that's a lot. That's more challenging.
Do you find with those kinds of films that are new and challenging, do you fall asleep?
Yes, and quite.
Or zone out and
9 times out of 10, I will declare the film absolutely rubbish, and I'm not going to watch the rest of it. Whereas I can watch The Three Amigos with Steve Martin ad nauseum 3 times a day for the rest of my life. Here's an interesting question then. This thought thread that you talk about, do you find that whilst you've got that thought thread, until you've realised it, you can't stop thinking about it?
No, I haven't thought of it that way, but what I have noticed that if I don't do it there and then, that inspiration doesn't come back again. So this applies to when I'm designing the cards. So I just have to go with it because I can't pick and choose when that moment comes of design. It's either there or it isn't. And I've learned that if it isn't there, I can't park it and come back. I just have to go with it, blur everything else out, stop all play until my idea is kind of fulfilled. Yeah.
If you've shot something, you have an idea in your head that you want to do. And for me, having footage on a hard drive ready to go, and you've got the film in your head, the bridge between that moment and producing it is excruciating for me. I've got to get to that footage, I make it, and then I've got to watch it 50 times.
Yeah.
You know, and the only thing,
good enough.
do you know the only thing I can liken it to, you know, if you've just decorated a room, and you're super pleased about it, you're glad about your carpet choice, you've painted the walls yourself, you've plastered you've just made it amazing. And then at night time, you're having a little glass of wine and you walk into the room and go, I've done a really good job here. And you can't stop looking at the room that you've just decorated.
Yeah.
And then the next night, you do it about 7 times. And then the following night, you do it about 9 times. And then the night after that, you do about another 13 times. And you just can't get over how nice this room is. Within a week, you stop doing it. You don't spend the rest of your life looking at the room. Yeah. However, that's what I'm like with a video. I've got to watch it over and over. At some point, I get sick of it and I'll stop.
I'm not always doing something, but I cannot not do something. So if I'm just, I can't just sit there vegging, doing nothing, because there's something always in the back of my mind saying, this needs doing, this needs doing, this needs doing. But I also get about the decorating scenario, but in a different way. And this was years and years ago, when I first got my house in Etruria, which you came to. The middle room, I thought, it was very minimalist. And I liked it. There was nothing in there because I hadn't got any furniture. You know, it was minimalist by default, really. And I quite liked it because my bedroom was quite cluttered before moving, you know, and buying my own house. And after 2 weeks, I was bored with the minimalism. There was just nothing to look at. There was nothing to focus on. There was nothing to activate my mind. Nothing to think about. Nothing to look at. I had to fill it with interesting objets d'art. ADHD is not something to be sniffed at, it's something to be embraced, but I think it's good to know if this is something we've got, whether we're born with it or whether we developed it. It doesn't really matter, but if we know it, then we can work with it. I'm quite happy when I'm in that zone of creating and I'm focused. It's when I'm not in that zone, I don't feel satisfied. I feel like I should be doing more. Now, whether it will get rid of that, but then if it gets rid of that, good. But then it's going to get rid of the buzz and the creativity that comes, that you've built up, that you need to release.
I want to ask you one last question.
Off you go, Tazza.
Do you ever waggle your feet while you're sitting down?
All the time, Zoe laughs at me. Is it? All the time. Zoe laughs, she films it sometimes.